over $3 million on Amazon, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts about Seller 365 as a, I feel like just basic regular, seller out there, just another seller here. Just letting you guys know. So we got to just back up for a second. With Amazon softwares in general, I feel like they've really, before there was only a few softwares. Now there's all these competitors. And the thing is with that, the thing is before they were just making a bag. In my opinion, there wasn't really many choices for sellers. Now there's tons of choices. Software companies, from what I've seen, seem like they're easier and easier to make. Um, from the outside looking in, from a seller's perspective, it's like everybody and their mother has a software to help sellers now. But with this, I like it because the guy that essentially currently owns Seller 365 Suite, the ThreeColts, the company, he wants to save sellers money. So the thing is, like, people are trying to, pay for $100 a month for a repricer, and then 25 bucks a month for a profit calculator, which is ridiculous. Um, you know, Shipment software, 100 bucks a month, right? Like all these like little things, and it's like at the end of the day, if sellers aren't making a profit, they're not going to be able to stay to pay for these softwares. So that's why I think that this could be huge. And right now is a time where a lot of these other, like, it's becoming hard. I can see it from the outside. It's becoming hard for these software companies to make a profit because a lot of people leave the space, and the churn rate of their customer, I would imagine, is pretty high. But so like that's like basically when a customer just leaves their service. But with what they're trying to do here, with Three Colts is currently working on, is from my perspective, I listened to the over 2 hour podcast about the owner of Three Colts like talk about it, and I'm just summarizing, giving you guys a breakdown. Their goal is to essentially make it so it's so cheap for a seller to sell, and so you don't have to be paying 100 bucks a month for a repricer, and 100 bucks a month for shipping into Amazon. You don't have to pay for like 10 bucks a month for feedback. You don't have to pay, like, everything's all in one. So you just pay one price and you get pretty much everything you need. I feel like at the surface level that sounds great. But the problem is if you're locked into one plan, then you're really just locked into that one plan. So it doesn't really incentivize that company to get better at its different tools, and it also needs to manage all these different tools to make sure that they're good. Prime example of it is, like, say if Inventory Lab doesn't work, where people can't send in shipments to Amazon, then there's essentially no point to all the other tools, because for Amazon specifically, because if customers can't send in product to Amazon, then they can't sell the product, they can't reprice the product, then they can't, ask for customer feedback, all these things. So I think it's one of those situations where it could be really good for sellers. I could also see how it could be really bad for sellers if they're locked into this plan that they want to pay, annually for, and then it's not up to par, or there's a problem with one of the apps and they just can't use their system at all. So that's my thoughts on it. I would like to know you guys' thoughts. I am bullish on it, though. I really think that this is going to be a good thing for the community. I think with Inventory Lab, it's like this weird thing too, because on social media and YouTube and all these things, and obviously you guys can see I'm not very professional or whatever when it comes to this marketing, but I'm just talking seller to seller here, right? And the thing is, these other software companies, they're either good at marketing or they're actually good at the product, from what I've seen. And it's like people might promote, and I won't name them, but people might promote other softwares, but then they use Inventory Lab and they use like the Seller 365 suite, but then they promote these other softwares because they make more money from promoting it. I don't like that. I don't like how that works. I don't like that at all because they're not trying to actually help out sellers. I think long term transparency does win. I really do believe that. And I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but I think long term transparency does win. And if somebody's making content, I would think if they're making content for a long enough time and they talk about the right tools, they're going to get the right people, and they know that they're not going to be, consuming like a bunch of BS because somebody makes a YouTube video and they own a software company and they say, "Oh, my software is great," right? But yeah, maybe I'm just fighting a weird fight here, but I think as a seller first, I think these software companies, um, I'm really rooting for ThreeColts because if they're gonna do what's good for sellers, that's awesome. That is the best thing ever, because then we don't have to pay all of this money for all these softwares that like it's just the overhead's like higher and higher. I would rather have lower overhead. Like inventory based business kind of sucks just in general. I'm gonna be honest. I made a video about this before. Kind of sucks in general, because there's a lot to it. It is a really good business, um, but there are some downsides, and the fact that you have to pay say $300 a month for software just to operate your business, that sucks, right? That blows. And there's ways to get around that, and I talk about that, but I don't see anybody else talk about that. They say, oh, you need these four different softwares because they're essential, because they make money off of telling you that. But I'm the only person that I see that just tells you what you need to do to actually be profitable at the business without trying to just feed you a bunch of affiliate links trying to get you to sign up for a bunch of stuff when you're not even making a profit at the end of the day. So I don't know, man. I think transparency wins. Like seller to seller, I think transparency wins. I think in the long run, people will respect the transparency, and they also will respect, uh, you know, at the end of the day, if you make content like this, right, then if you're doing the right thing, it's gonna work. So that's just my 2 cents about it. I think ThreeColts is gonna be great, but we'll see what happens. There's definitely some issues right now at the time of uploading this video with sending products to Amazon. But once they get that really down packed and they onboard more people into this program, I think it's gonna be awesome. I love. I don't know if the owner of ThreeColts is gonna watch this. If you do, shout out, shout out to you. I think the affiliate program that they had before was terrible. Like specifically with Inventory Lab, it was like you make like $5. It's when nobody makes videos about it. Now, from what I see, they just implemented one where it's 20%. So if somebody makes a video about it and they talk about it, it's actually decent for the person on the other side. And as you guys, consumers, sellers watching this, you might be thinking, okay, why are you talking about this? Because it does matter, because you want to, as a consumer, you want to be able to consume the best product, that will essentially make your business more profitable and solve your problems, in my opinion. And before, there was no incentive for people to make videos about Inventory Lab or all these other softwares that actual sellers actually use. But now there's a little bit more of an incentive, so hopefully it will come out.